Okay, campers, this is your DAA 370 concept folder, and I'm going to run through it real fast with you. It'll take me about 10 or 15 minutes. Um, and I want you to go through it more slowly, but I just want to show you. This will be in, I believe, the Tahoe uh, drive. We'll find it, and then you can get into it. We haven't, as I make this, we haven't even opened the new school yet, so I have no idea. But we'll get to it. First thing here is Alchemy. This is an executable file. It's not working here on my Mac at home. We will have it hooked up at school. It's a shape generating software, shape creation software. And if I haven't shown you how to use it by the time we do, say, the game level, let me know and I will. This next file is maybe the most important file, one of two very important files, brushes and tools. These are brushes that you can use for different thing. You'll see this one is called Awesome Landscapers, and once you have loaded onto Photoshop from this file once, it will always come back here. We will be working with Goros as our primary brush set, but there are lots of brushes here to choose from, some named after artists, as you can see, some named after magazines, some from former students that had some really cool brushes, lots of cool stuff to check out. We also have textures in here, and I want you to look at these very carefully. They make fantastic backgrounds for things and overlays for things, and sometimes you can actually see a landscape in the texture itself and start working right over that. I've also got swatches and just any number of things in here, and I want you to look at it really, really carefully. These texture boards, I don't know, they're funny little things. You may enjoy them. The swatches sets were made by different students. They're named after students, or they're named after artists, or what have you, and you can import these too, and it'll give you something to work with. Camtasia files, that's what I'm working in right now, is Camtasia, and this will give you the MP4 for everything that's in Canvas, plus a few more that are for other classes. If you want to check them out, they won't have sound on a Cogswell computer that doesn't have speakers, but most of these I have available for you, excuse me, and you can download them on YouTube. Carapace is another executable file that is used to fix your perspective in your own drawings. Composition Help has a lot of what I consider very useful things to look at as far as composing, especially this page from Hans Bacher's book Dream Worlds, which if you're going to be a concept designer, you should probably buy Dream Worlds anyway. But there are different things, how to, what I expect out of an abstract composition, stuff like that. I think it would be to your advantage to know. Of course, Documents has a lot of different things, how I do things in a Word doc, and some tutorials and some rubrics and your syllabus and a few other things for you to work with. So that's all there. This is your final grade rubric. You might want to take a good look at it. I have something called Evolution of a Character. That's really for me, but if I forget to show you in class, I'm talking about how the Joker started as this sort of playing card figure, became a comical character in the old Batman series from the 60s, was still comic but darkly comic in the original Batman movie, and then finally with Heath Ledger he's fully creepy kind of character. And I just wanted to show you how design evolves over time, and designs from the past can be very interesting to you if you'll go back and look at them. All of the exercises that I'm going to ask you to do should be in here if you need to refer to them. Don't worry about mouse jiggle, that's for me. That's so that my screen will stay active when I'm lecturing to you guys. This is an example of I'm sorry, it's not an example. This is the template that you can use for your movie thumbnails assignment. And if you do use it, it's going to make life a lot easier for you. You'll see once you open the PSD how it works. Your second major file is the reference folder, and I really want you to know this folder. It has a ton of stuff available for you. Anatomy, if you're a little light on anatomy, I've got both animal and human anatomy in here. I've got artists, and I'm very anxious that you'll look through this And if you see an artist whose work you like, I want you to bring that to my attention, especially if it's from this file, which I know a little bit, and we'll figure out how you can get to this place yourself. So I've got a lot of different artists who've been gathered by me and by other students over the years. And like I said, we can help each other, and I can certainly help you. If you see something you really like, I can show you, hopefully, how you can get there. So learn the artist file and just go through them. It's kind of fun. It's not going to take you a really long time. It's worth the time because you're likely to see something that you really like or a technique that you think you can emulate. That's a big deal. My textures are also in here, and as I said, they're very, very useful for you. Sometimes they are just what an image needs as part of a background or the background itself to get yourself rolling into something that will work for you. Like this, is I always turn this sideways and it's a landscape. So be aware of it. There are tutorials in here as well, as you can see. Characters, I should try to show you what concept characters look like when different artists do them. And sometimes that's very useful. I really want you to go over and over all of this stuff as best as you can to get an idea of what we're trying to do and maybe what you can do as well. The image file is maybe the single most important thing, and I'm gonna take you through it. And so I've got lots of reference for you guys, and I don't want you making stuff up. I don't want you acting like you've never seen anything that you're actually looking for here. So anything that you might think you want to look for or look at, I've probably got an example of it. I also have folders with things like these aquascapes, which are really, really cool. Aquariums that look like real places, and they can be very useful as elements for a paint over, for ideas, for shape, for any kind of thing that you may want to look at. Very cool stuff in here, and I want you to be as familiar as you can with all of it. Sorry, sometimes this stuff just takes some time. Poses, I have all these parkour photos here that show you different jumping poses, and I think that it's incredibly useful for you to look through them and use some of these compositional views and ways of looking at poses and figures in space and all of this stuff. It's right here for you. So many of my students just seem to avoid this image file and the reference folder, and I don't understand, because it's here. It's incredibly useful for you to do. I've got environments in here, and you can see what other people have done, what I've done, all kinds of different material in here for you to look at. I've got concept art, I've got creature designs, I've got movie thumb examples, lighting. Everything that I can think of that will help you is in this folder. I've also got the Read Stuff folder. That's my work. These are things that I've been working on, and you can see the you can see the transition from one thing to another thing in my own work as I go through and try to show you different things. This was just nothing but a leg that I was using to show a student what might work. Here's a demon you may have seen before. Another monster. Here's something a little more funny, I suppose you could say. Not finished. Another monster that I created. So some designs for a predator. You can, hopefully this will help you with some ideas about what you can do. I've also got girl demos, so you can see different versions of characters that I've created. And perhaps will give you an idea if you see something that you would really like to know how to do. I've done all these, so likely I can show you, hopefully I can remember how I did it, and I can show you how to do some of these things. WIP is a work in progress file. These are things that I'm not finished with and that I just kept because I thought they might have some merit, and maybe I would work on them at a later time. So I keep them, and please go through, and if you get curious about something, if you want to know how to make something or what I was thinking in a given day, I love this one maybe most of all. Let me know, and I will go over that work with you as well. You are welcome to go into my folder. I kind of want you to go into my folder because I want you to be curious about what I can do and curious about how I do different things, and I want you to be, invested in what's going on. The only thing I'll ask in my folder, don't change anything and don't delete anything because that's my work, and I really want you to hopefully leave it there so other people can look at it as well. Student work scans is something I do for a lecture that I may or may not give to you guys. They're just doodles and things that I do in my sketchbooks to get ideas. Student work is useful. Best of, I haven't done the fall 14 or the spring 15 student work, but you can look in here and you can look in here and you can see the kinds of things that students have done that I think are pretty good and that merit some attention. So when you look through here, and you can get ideas and see what I'm up to. These last two, you can see actually every project because I haven't sorted it out yet. I haven't gone through and picked just the very best work of any of this stuff. Same with fall 14. There are tutorials in here as well for you. And then this you actually have in a video on your Canvas shell that you can look through. It's from Fengzhu, somebody I recommend you look at with some frequency. Okay, that's it. This is your concept design folder, and I really want you to know it. I've gone through it in just a few minutes. I want you to go through it in a few hours. I want you to be as clear as you can about what's in there so you don't have to go hunting at some later point. You'll know where to look.